Last night was a really cool moment for me specifically, like sitting on those steps after seeing the footage. Then you literally walked across the street to finish your movie.
That's right.
You had 3 VFX shots you were talking about, trying to get color timed. But the idea of you walking across the street and finishing one of the most anticipated films of all time and just walking into that building, like what did you do last night when you actually finished it? What was it like to send it off?
By the way, that room that we walked into to finish the movie is the same room that Walt Disney would screen films in, and they have chairs in that theater that are still exact replicas of the ones that they used to use.
Wow.
So it's really an amazing.
There's a lot of history in the room. I mean, we ate cupcakes when we were done. That's what we did. One of the PAs had made a great collection of Infinity Stone themed cupcakes.
Do you two hug it out at the end? Like guys, we're done.
We did hug last night.
Yes. This was a long one.
Yeah.
We have a lot of it's stressful because we're popping in and out of press over the last week or two, and our key collaborators are there grinding, trying to get all these shots in, and then we get to walk in a room and go yes, no. But there's a lot of behind the scenes. People are just sweating it and sleepless, and so kudos to them.
Now I know films are shot out of order. Not a lot of films are shot in linear order. So I don't know if you can answer this question specifically, but I was wondering if you can go back to the first scene you shot on Winter Soldier, the day the cameras rolled.
We know that scene.
And then are you allowed to talk about the last scene you filmed? If it's the last scene of the movie, obviously you can't say it, but do you remember the last shot you shot in Endgame?
We do remember the last shot we shot in Endgame. We won't talk about it.
Okay.
But the first scene we shot in Winter Soldier was the elevator scene.
Really?
That was our first day of shooting, yeah.
So is there any kind of full circle to what the last shot was in Endgame?
No.
Unfortunately,
Can't
no.
say it.
Movie schedules are dictated by so many random things that, unfortunately, you can't kind of line them up like that.
Yeah.
But
no.
I will say this. Yeah.
So I reached out to some of your fans. I asked for some fan questions. This is coming from someone named Josh Brolin.
Okay, right.
He's from Aqaba, Jordan, on the set of Dune.
Oh,
Okay,
excellent.
right.
This is a real question. I'm not kidding you. He sent me this today.
That's so awesome.
How can you have an Endgame after a war that goes on forever? Infinity War. It doesn't make sense. Oh, maybe it's the stalemate that goes on forever. Aha. Any thoughts on that?
Brolin's amazing.
I mean, emotionally, it's an Infinity War.
Right.
It feels like it's never. It's a metaphoric title. It's not a literal title.
Right.
It's the thing,
And he wants to know who your favorite character is in the MCU.
Well, I guess that would
it'd
have to be Thanos.
right?
Oh.
Yeah.
We're not saying that
If
because
Josh is asking.
he actually did send me those.
Yeah.
He sent me some other stuff too, which was really funny. But one thing I do find fascinating about these movies is every time I talk to you, we talk about these amazing scenes. Winter Soldier, the bridge scene, absolutely brilliant. Airport scene in Civil War. Thor's entrance into Wakanda in Infinity War. And we always talk about this idea of can you top this? And it's not about that. It's all about what serves the story.
Right.
But when you do a scene like Thor entering Wakanda like that, you obviously know you're making an epic moment. But what is the balance of this is an amazing, cool sequence, but it does fully serve every other moment of the story?
There are things,
There
there are things that excite us as like the kids inside of us. I mean, growing up reading comic books, I want that moment where Thor arrives in Wakanda with a brand new axe to kick everybody's ass. But it only works if the storytelling supports it and it supports the moment perfectly. And it has to build to that revelation. You have to see everyone's against the ropes here and what he has to go through to sacrifice to create that axe. He almost dies doing it. And those are the things that swell into, it's like a symphony. You have to, all the instruments have to be working in harmony in order for it to play out properly.
Well, so obviously now there's so many stories about obviously what's happening with Fox and kind of merging with Disney. And I know you guys have talked about Wolverine and things like that.
Right.
If you could see Deadpool interact with your Avengers cast, in a scene, how would you imagine him kind of being in a moment? I would love to see that. I don't know why, I just want to see this so bad.
It's good. It's I don't know. It's really
He breaks the fourth wall, so it changes tone.
But I would tell you this, and this is how we craft all of these moments, is we will literally lock ourselves in a room for 2 months and discuss this question
Philosophically,
before we arrive,
how does he work?
Before we arrive at how we would do it.
Are the new rules with the character? Is he not allowed to break the fourth wall? Would that damage the character? So you have to figure out how you incorporate the tone of what's happening. in the MCU with a character like that.
My favorite moment in the new trailer is Tony saying, "Do you trust me?" And Cap goes, "I do." And like to me, that could have been a moment where like there could have been a joke or whatever, because like they have that funny banter back and forth.
Right.
But it was a beautiful moment because of the stakes of what's happening. Just because that moment is out there and in the trailers, directing that scene, having those two, knowing what happened in Infinity War, knowing what happened with Thanos' snap. What was it like to be behind the camera on that moment?
Well,
It's
we're
an
going to tell
amazing
you,
moment, but we can't go into too much detail.
that scene actually
because-
isn't in the movie. So you know that we tell people that we manipulate the trailers in order to obfuscate what happens in these films.
It's not in the film?
That actually is not.
Are you
in
joking, or-
the movie? Am I joking?
Oh, come on, man. I love that scene so much.
But I'll tell you, listen, the relationship between Tony Stark and Steve Rogers, I mean, that is a relationship that we have been following.
See how we did this?
Very
That's not nice.
closely
See how we're doing this?
for a long time. That is a very special story arc.
Over here. Look over here.
Guys, that's not nice. You're messing with my emotions. I was like crying watching that scene in the trailer.
Maybe it is in the movie.
Come on, what's going on here? All right, well, guys, thank you so much. The Infinity War was one of the greatest movies of all time. I hope you know that you have mastered storytelling and pacing masterfully, and Alan Silvestri's score, everything about the movies you make. I hope you know that we love what you do.
Thank you. We
for it.
appreciate that.
Incredibly
You know that
pleased, I
end
think.
scene from The Usual Suspects where Chaz Palminteri is sitting in his office and he's looking around and realizing that Kaiser Soze
Yep.
made up everything? You've just been Kaiser Soze.
I'll take it. I will take that. Chris McQuarrie will be happy. He would. Guys, thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
man.
Can I get a picture
So
of you guys
close to
real
yeah,
quick?
yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.